Hello everyone, welcome back to Kiran's English Hub. So we are continuing with the summaries of 8th class English, and in this video I will be taking you through the next lesson, which is Unit 5 and Reading A. And the title is The Treasure Within. That is Part 1. So this lesson is divided into two parts actually. Okay, so they have divided into Part 1 and Part 2 since it is too long. So in this video I will be teaching you the first part, which is The Treasure Within, and the theme of this whole unit is going to be education and career. Okay, so since it is uh, you know uh, perfectly related and matching to your situation, it is very important for you to go through this lesson very carefully. So here we can see education and career as the theme of this unit, and before getting into the text we have some exercises here. Education and career. Look at the pictures given below and answer the questions that follow. So students, once look at these pictures here. Okay, so before I could tell the names of those great people, you must be able to identify um, them. Okay, so as you can see on the picture, you have some of the greatest people who are from India. Okay, so as you can see them, in the first picture you can see Dr. Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan. He is a former president to India and also a great educationalist. Okay, so and in the next picture, in the second picture, you can see Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, who is also a former president of India and a great scientist. And here down below that you can see Mokshagundam Vishwesharaya. He is a civil engineer. Okay, so like a famous civil engineer who architected many buildings in independent India. Okay, like in the early independent days. So he is from Mysore actually, and he has become so famous for his most uh, you know the unique styles of architecture. And in the next picture you can see Saina Nehwal, a shuttler who made India a remarkable at many different levels in international games and national games also. Okay, so she brought name and fame for our country. So these four people whom we can see on this screen are not just an ordinary people, but these four people have lived very ordinary life at the beginning of their life and career. Okay, so like directly they are not into the field, or directly they didn't get so famous, or they didn't directly get that much of fame and name. Okay, so during their childhood they were just like you and me, like any other normal person, but later they improved their passion, they focused on their dedication, and finally they achieved the goal of becoming so successful. Okay, so in this lesson we will be going to look at the person just like the above people whom we can see in the picture. So look at the first question here. Identify the person in the pictures. Okay, that we have just gone through them. Which field does each one of them belong to? So that one also I had already discussed with you. Next one, would you like to be like any one of them? If yes, name the field you like. So do you want to become famous like them? Do you want to be successful? Do you want to do you want your name in the history of Indian successful people? Then what do you want to become to be like them? Okay, so you just have to speak that to yourself. Later you have got an oral discourse. This is talk on ambition of your life. Okay, so you have to make a talk in your class, and that is on the ambition of your life. Okay, so I think that will be a very good talk in the classroom. So here later, the treasure within. Okay, this is part 1. So here this text, the whole text, treasure within, part 1 and part 2, is completely an interview. Okay, so in this interview, so one person who is BR, okay, he is an editor from Sparsha newsletter, so we will be asking some questions, and the person who answers here is Mr. Hafiz Contractor. His name is in short form here, Hafiz Contractor, HC. He is one of the most famous and successful civil engineers in India who is from Mumbai. Okay, so he built many marvelous structures, offices, buildings. He architected many of them, which were which stood as some of the famous buildings in the country. So we'll be looking at his early life. We'll be going through some of his successful stories, successful events also in his life. Okay, so here, read the following interview. It is based on a conversation between Mr. Belaraja, BR. Okay, so BR, remember this BR because in the lesson we are going to see his words with the title as BR, who is the editor of Sparsh. It is a newsletter from the Resource Center, the Valley School, Bangalore. Okay, and Mr. Hafiz Contractor, who is in short form called as HC, one of the India's leading architects. Okay, so being leading architects in India, not a small thing. It is not a small achievement, because you all know that in India is a developed country, right? It is not developed. So in developed countries you can see already huge buildings, huge structures with different models and so much of designs and all. But in India, when the country is in the process of developing, there will be so much of competition among these architects. Okay, they will be trying to take up some of the contracts for architecting the buildings and all. So this person, Mr. Office Contractor, has become India's leading architect. So just imagine how intelligent, how or how good he is at his work. So that only could have made him one of the leading contractors in India, right? So here we will be looking at his early life and also what he did during his childhood and how was his childhood and all. Okay, so here part 1, HC. I used to have this terrible nightmare. Only now, over the last 4 to 5 years, it seems to have disappeared. So here Hafiz Contractor, he tells, this is directly in the middle of interview. So the first question is not given here. So directly the statement of Hafiz Contractor is given. So he says, I used to have a type of nightmare, and that was terrible one. And like for 4 to 5 years now, it has been disappeared little bit. So before 4 to 5 years, this type of nightmare was there for me. Beer, the interviewer, he asks, what nightmare are you talking about? And why do you think it has disappeared now? So now this guy who is interviewing, he says, okay, what type of nightmare was it? And why do you think that it is disappeared now? So here Hafiz Contract says, I used to get continuous nightmares about appearing for a math examination where I did not know anything. Okay, so what was the nightmare he used to get? The nightmare was he used to appear for a math examination, and he didn't know anything to write in the exam. Now the psych must have gotten over it. I don't have to think about education, and there is absolutely no time to get nightmares. So now, since there is no much time to think about the education and all, I think that is disappeared. Okay, so the nightmare was about the math examination, and the reason to disappear is that he no longer needs to think about his education. Okay, the interviewer asks, tell us something about your earliest memories in school. So now immediately the when he remembered about when he spoke about his math examination, school days and all, immediately the interviewer also asks, okay, tell us something about your school days. How were they? So here Office Contractor, he tells, in the first and second year I was a good student. After I reached the third standard, I simply lost interest and I never studied. So at the very beginning of his school days, in the first class and the second class, he was very good student. But when he entered into third class, he lost all the interest that he had in studies, and he never studied after that. Yes. I used to be interested in games, running around, playing jokes and pranks on others. I would copy in class during exam times. So this office contractor, he didn't have much interest in the studies. He used to always play games. He used to just run around. He used to play jokes and pranks. And during the exams, he doesn't study and he just used to copy. I would try to get hold of the examination paper that had been prepared and study it, and as I could not remember things that had been taught me in the class. So he just immediately, as soon as he gets the question paper, he just tries to get rid of that paper. He just tries to complete it as much, as soon as that is possible, with whatever the words or whatever the things that he is copying from. Okay, so he just doesn't like to keep on hold, to that paper. Okay. However, later one sentence spoke to me by the principal changed my life. So till then he was like that. Suddenly, one day principal calls him and he tells something, and that words changed his entire life. Okay, let us see what are they. When I approached my 11th standard, the principal called me and said, "Look here, son. I have been seeing you since day one. You are a good student, but you never studied. I have taken care of you till today. Now I can no longer take care of you, so do it yourself." So one day, when he was in 11th standard, when Avi's contractor was in 11th standard, the principal called him and he said, "Okay, son, look. So I have been seeing you since day one. So I have been observing you every day since you came to the school, since your first standard. You are a very good student, but you are not studying at all. So I have taken very good care of you till today, but now I can no more tolerate you." So see this type of, one of the leading architects in India now. Okay, he was just like an uneducated boy in his school days. You can just look at these words here. Even the principal also doesn't like to be there, doesn't like, this office contract to be in his school. So finally the principal said, "I don't want you anymore here." Okay, so he talked to me for 5 minutes. "You don't have your father. Your mother has worked so hard to bring you up and paid all your fees all these years, but you have only played games. Now you should raise to the occasion and study." So now the principal said, he talked to principal for 5 years, and the principal finally said, "See, you don't have your father." Okay, so his contractor doesn't have father. His father might have been, passed away during his childhood itself, and your mother worked so hard to bring you up to pay all these, fee. So his mother might have been working, to pay his fee. Okay, but he is not studying at all, or his contractor is not studying at all. So now principal says, "Now you just have played games, you didn't study at all, so now it is time for you to study well." So I used to be very good sportsman. I had been the senior champion for so many years, and I also was the cricket captain. I used to play every game, but that year I did not step out onto the field. So Afis contractor used to be very good sportsman. He studied every game and he was also the senior champion for so many years for his, cricket team in his school. So the year in which Afis contractor was told that, when Hafiz contractor was warned by the principal and all, that year Hafiz contractor didn't at all step into the field. I would go for the prayers all, and all I would do was eat and study. I normally used to copy and pass, but I realized that once I was in SSC, I could not do that. So Hafiz contractor, he just used to go to the prayers. So he would eat and he would study, but once when he got habituation of copying and all during his school days, he continued that. But later when he was in 10th class, the public examinations will be held. So during that public examinations, Hafiz contractor realized that he couldn't copy anymore. So here you can see his picture here, Mr. Hafiz contractor's picture here. Okay, so when I got a second class 50% in my SSC, my principal said, son, consider yourself as having got distinction. This is my memory of my school days. So when Hafiz contractor studied hard during his 10th examinations, and when he got 50%, okay, that is second class, not even first class. Okay, 50% he when Hafiz contractor got, the principal called him, and principal said, son, it might be second class mark, but imagine that you got distinction, because principal might have thought that Hafiz contractor would not pass at all, but fine, when Hafiz contractor at least got 50 percentage, then the principal was very happy, and he said, just consider yourself that you got distinction. Okay, he was so happy. So I did lots of other things. See, as far as my things are concerned, I can't remember. I forgot things very easily. To remember, I have to see things as a photograph. I read a book and I can remember the matter as a photograph, but not through my mind. That is how it works. So as well as his memory was not that good, and he couldn't remember everything. Okay, so he could remember only few events in his life, and he could remember some other things when he looks to the pictures. Okay, so that's why he's telling here, okay, I don't remember everything, but if just look at some of my school pictures, then I could remember. Okay, so when you were, yeah, so here BR again asks, so when you were in school and you were doing badly, did the teachers pull you up, and how did you feel? Okay, so usually when we don't behave well in the classroom, what do the teachers do? The teachers immediately pull us up in the sense they make us stand in the class or on the bench also. So here interviewer asks, okay, have you ever experienced that type of thing in your classroom for not behaving well? So immediately face contractor he says, I never felt anything on being pulled up. I used to be so interested in playing. I would receive a caning every week. So here, during his childhood of his contractor, he didn't feel anything, because that is an habitual thing for him. Okay, like almost like every day he used to be, outside of the class, and he used to get punishments, and also he used to get canning. Canning in the sense, like beating with stick is called as canning. Okay, so almost like every week he used to get one. So he's habituated to all these scoldings, being made standing in the class, and canning, everything is habituated. So Hafiz contractor, he didn't feel anything at all anytime. Okay, next one. When you know that you had incurred the wrath of your teacher by not doing your homework or by behaving badly, when you knew you would get a caning, what was the state of your mind? State of mind, just lift up the hand, and they would cane me you. It would hurt badly when, and then I would have to forget about it because I would want to go and play. So here the interviewer asks, okay, like for example, before going into the class itself, imagine that you came to know that you did not do your homework, and you know that your teacher is going to get so much angry on you, and you know that teacher is going to beat you. So what is your state of mind? So when this question is asked, Hafiz contractor tells, what do you mean by state of mind? I never had that type of feelings, because if teacher is beating me on my hand, then I just stretch my hand and she beats on my hand, that's it. And immediately I forget it when I just enter into the playground, that's it. That's what usually children do when they are in the school. Okay, so all the 8th class children, you also, okay, like if the teacher is warning or beating you something sometime, then you would just try to receive that punishment, and immediately you would get into the playground, and when you are in the playground you forget everything. Okay, so just like a common student of his contractor also experienced these type of things in his childhood. BR, have you ever felt insecure or threatened? Hafiz contractor. I was just interested in playing and nothing else. I was most interested in funny pranks. One day, I did not want to study, so I created a distraction. For one whole hour. We played chore police. So when the question is asked, like, have you ever felt insecure or threatened? So Hafiz contractor says, no, I never, bother for that. And I was just interested in playing. That's all. I don't do anything. I just eat and I just play. So one day, we did one prank, and we just created a distraction in the class, and we played chore police. Chore police, right? Okay, chore police. It is a game. Okay. So every Saturday we were allowed to go into town to see a movie. So what I would do was have no lunch and collect money from 40 to 50 students and run and buy tickets. On my way back, I would eat to my heart's content. So even weekly there was permission for them to watch a movie. So without eating his lunch, he used to collect 40 nearly money from 40 to 50 students, and he used to go to buy tickets. And on his way back, whatever the money that is remained after buying the tickets, that money would be spent on some other things to buy and eat. Okay, so this is how he's you know did each and everything, which is not at all said to be a good student. Okay, so I used to be the leader of a gang. We would have gang fights and plan strategies. These things used to interest me more than any academics. So there was a gang also for them. Okay, and also Hafiz contractor was the leader of the gang. So they used to have plans, they used to have strategies, to beat others. Okay, usually children have these plans, right? So they have one gang, they have another gang, one plan, one gang plans on another. Okay, A on B, B on A. Okay, these type of fights are common in the school. So this was the most interesting thing than any academics in the sense any studies. No studies who used to impress him this much. Okay, he was very much interested in this type of street fights. Students used to book my textbooks for the following year because they were almost brand new. I probably opened them one day before exam. So, like, for example, if I'm studying 10th class, my juniors, ninth class students, they used to book my, textbooks. Like, they don't buy after they, are promoted into 10th class, they don't spend money on textbooks. Okay, so they have my textbook now, so I give them, they save money. So this is how usually happens in the school. So just like that, the students used to it was like a competition between the students to get the books of Hafiz contractor, because Hafiz contractor never opened these books and they were brand new. He probably opened them only before the examination, like one day before the examination. So imagine, so they would be like brand new books. So that's why students, the junior students might have been very much interested to take his books. Okay, so we can just imagine how his childhood was. He was completely not a good student. He was completely interested, everything, in everything other than the academics. He was just like a street fighter. He didn't at all show any interest in the academics. He didn't get good marks. He got so many cannings from the teachers, but finally he became one of the leading architects in India. Okay, so in the part 2 we will see some of his other life and interview. And before ending the video, I have glossary here: nightmare, frightening dream; psyche, mind or mentality; canning, punishment or beating; chore police, this is a game; children's game, thief and police. Next, strategies, methods of winning; academics, educational matters. So just like the academics which you have, like the studies; book, offer to buy in advance. Okay, booking. Okay, like booking tickets and all. Okay, so this is it for this video, students. So in the next video I will be teaching with a part 2 of the treasure within. Okay, so this part 2 will be taught in the next video, so don't miss that video. So to not to miss that video, subscribe to my channel and click on the bell icon. and also share these videos with your friends, with your classmates, and any other person who is in need of this explanation. Okay students, so that's it for this video. I'm ending the video. Take care, god bless you, see you all in the next video.